Good afternoon and thanks for joining us on Nationwide this Wednesday. I'm Hawa Salihu Adaman. The federal government has declared Monday the 26th, Tuesday 27th December 2016 and Monday the 2nd January 2017 as public holidays to mark the Christmas, Boxing Day and New Year 2017 celebrations. Making the declaration on behalf of the federal government, the Minister of Interior, Lieutenant General Abdurrahman Dambazo, retired, urged all Christian faithful and Nigerians in general to remain committed and supportive of government of President Muhammadu Buhari in his sustained efforts towards building a peaceful, united and prosperous nation. General Dambazo also urged Nigerians to use the occasion to pray for unity and peaceful coexistence across the country. The minister wishes all Nigerians at home and abroad a Merry Christmas and prosperous New Year 2017. House of Representatives Committee on Agriculture and Production Services says it is working towards ensuring that strategic institutions in government's food security program, such as the Bank of Agriculture, are recapitalized to ensure the attainment of the desired goal. This came to the fore when the management of the bank appeared before the committee to provide explanations on its 2016 budget performance. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim completes the report.
The Bank of Agriculture is traditionally designed to function as the avenue through which credit facilities are granted to farmers in various productions, extending its operation across the nation with special attention to the grassroots. The impact of this bank was in the past being felt by both large, medium and small-scale farmers. But gradually, its operations over the years has been at the lower ebb. This situation of things, according to the committee, should change for the better, especially now that government is diversifying the economy with agriculture as the focal point.
All hands will be on deck to make sure that the Bank of Agriculture is recapitalized and all loans that are supposed to be disbursed to farmers are disbursed through the Bank of Agriculture that is statutorily mandated to do that.
Appreciative of the committee's drive towards ensuring the recapitalization of the bank, the managing director of Bank of Agriculture, Dambala Danju, said some of the constraints they had in the past was huge deficit accrued from beneficiaries of its facilities. Hoping that the new drive in resuscitating agriculture as the mainstay of the economy, such encumbrances will be taken care of.
We're trying to work with the African Development Bank in order to move away from this social kind of support to agriculture into a more business-like agricultural financing model.
The Bank of Agriculture has 137 functional offices across the nation. From the National Assembly, Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
Still staying with legislative matters, for the call on revenue diversification of federal government to impact the grassroots, both the federal and state government must intensify road rehabilitation across the country. House of Representatives member Hassan Omale, representing Angpa constituency, Kogi State, said that these are the inauguration of rehabilitation of the road linking communities in Benue and Kogi States. Jacob Sani completes the report.
The 10-kilometer road in Angpa local government area provides the shortest link from Angpa in Kogi to its neighboring Benue State. The deplorable condition of the road over the years subjected motorists to hardship and paralyzed movement of goods and services in the area.
Due to the suffering from here to Awu, from here to Akarapia, we have been suffering for long.
As we're the one who now, we're very happy. This government, we know this government remembers.
Worried by the plight of the people, the member representing Angpa Omala Olamaboro Federal Constituency in the House of Representatives, Alhaji Hassan Omale, decided to rehabilitate the road. Alhaji Hassan said he's making effort to improve electricity supply, construct blocks of classrooms, and rehabilitate more road in the constituency, while the attention of government is being drawn to ecological problem confronting the area.
I therefore at this juncture want to appeal to the federal government. The road from Ayangba to Tupa Junction, I moved the motion the other time. And I appeal to the federal government to make sure that it is in the budget for 2017. Equally, the road from Makurdi to Ankpa, and we are appealing to the government to put in the budget.
Representatives of various groups in the constituency applauded the initiative and promised necessary support. From Ankpa, I am Jacob Sani, NTA News.
And ensuring that the 2017 budget is implemented for speedy recovery of the Nigerian economy and creation of jobs was what guests on NTA's Current Affairs program Tuesday Live stressed, while raising concerns particularly in the areas of borrowing and agriculture.
In a country like Nigeria battling economic recession, the government must spend money to reflect the economy and invest heavily in infrastructure to exit the recession. And seeking financial help from within and outside the country, experts say, is a necessity. This unavoidable quest is reflected in the 2017 budget, which was presented by President Muhammadu Buhari before a joint session of the National Assembly last week. Reactions have been trailing the 7.298 trillion naira budget size as guests on Tuesday Live analyzed its projections and the impact it will have on Nigerians.
This budget has been structured to reflect the plan, and that plan is aimed at getting the country within 4 years up to 7% growth rate.
And the policies that the federal government, Mr. President, has set out in this budget is such policies as will encourage people to go back to the farms.
See that loan as totally justified, even within the context of the budget itself, and a lot of that money actually is going to states. Just a portion of it is for the federal government.
The power sector and the need to patronize made-in-Nigeria products also engaged the attention of the guests.
Whether this budget will do the trick depends on our ability to identify all the lacuna in the economy.
And the guests nodded to the fact that Nigerians can repose their trust and confidence in President Muhammadu Buhari's determination in steering the country out of its current economic state and onto the path of recovery and growth. Joseph Johnson, NTA News.
Many thanks, Joseph. And following recent presidential directive to the Nigeria police and the military to migrate to the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Information System, IPPIS, the armed forces is set to join the platform by the first quarter of 2017. This was at an IPPIS seminar for Nigeria Army account officers in Abuja. Defense correspondent Ismail Musa completes the report.
In 2007, the federal government introduced the IPPIS model, a reform that seeks to centralize the public service database for proper accountability and governance and effective payroll management. With over 400 ministries and agencies enrolled, records show that over 46,000 ghost workers have been removed from the federal government's payroll. The event is aimed at educating the Nigerian Army accounts officials on the modalities of IPPIS.
I directed the immediate steps be taken to ensure the full migration of Nigerian Army payroll in line with the federal government's directives.
For seamless transition, the Ministry of Finance has maintained close contact with the armed forces, with about 40% of the armed forces engaged in different operations within and outside the country. How prepared is the military for this migration?
Each time recruits are passing out from depot, we capture them from the source. The same thing for officers when being trained, when they are passing out from NDA, collaborate with the IP's department for the full migration.
Ismail Musa, NTA News.
And still staying with the military, the Nigerian Army has debunked the rumor that troops of Operation Lafia Dole are ill-treated and not well fed. This was at a press conference by Theatre Commander, Operation Lafia Dole, Major General Lucky Irabo in Maiduguri.
During this period, that is 14th to 21st, just the space of 1 week, a total of 1,880 civilians were rescued from the Boko Haram terrorist enclave. Similarly, Between the same period, a total of 564 Boko Haram terrorist members were arrested, while 19 others surrendered to our troops.
He called on the media to shun negative and misguided publications, adding that the Nigerian Guild of Editors and the Nigerian Union of Journalists should rise and defend the nation's national security interest. NAFDAC mops up warehouse of fake products in Lagos. Let's now join Abdullahi in our Lagos Network Center for details of this and more. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon to you too, Hawa, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has received 140 Nigerians deported from Libya. They arrived Murtala Mohammed International Airport at about 4:30 p.m. on Tuesday. Lil Leneke reports that among the deportees were unaccompanied minors.
The 140 deportees arrived at Murtala Mohammed International Airport on board Libyan airline 5A LAT Airbus. Some of the returnees heaved a sigh of relief as they stepped out into the international airport. This is because of the humiliation they suffered in the hands of their employers and the Libyan prison.
They keep me, they said it's deportation camp. With me, to me, that place is not a deportation camp. It's a prison.
For me, I'm a nurse. There's no money for me to open my own store. That's why I traveled. We are just going there to suffer. There's no enjoyment there.
Doctors from the International Organization for Migration were on hand to provide medical support for the deportees.
We only had 3 medical cases, all of them psychiatric cases. 2 of them were stable, had already been treated. Only one was a bit not so stable, but has been taken for review. Deputy Director Search and Rescue, Dr. Bandele Onisode, who represented the Director General NEMA, urged the deportees to engage in meaningful ventures capable of transforming them.
It means if you are home and you are hardworking, you have a place in this country. Our advice is stay back, develop this country. Just like where they are running to was developed by their own citizens, we can develop our own country and have a better place to live.
Officials of the International Organization for Migration said this is the 5th airlift in the series of evacuation of stranded Nigerians in Libya. In Lagos, Lynn Lenake, NTA News.
On to defense matters now. Men and officers of the Nigerian Navy have been charged to remain committed to protecting the citizenry from internal and external threats. This charge was made by the flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Ferguson Bobai, to the newly promoted senior officers at the decoration ceremony in Lagos. Joy Kenabakwe reports.
14 newly promoted officers of the Western Naval Command were decorated. They include 8 captains elevated to the rank of Commodore, 3 commanders promoted to captains, and 4 lieutenant commanders who are now commanders. The flag officer commanding Western Naval Command, Rear Admiral Ferguson Bobai, while congratulating the officers, charged them to live up to the responsibility of their new ranks.
Let me encourage you that you need to live above boards. Every officer is an average officer, but that officer who painstakingly does his I's and crosses his T's tends to be outstanding in all ramifications.
Rear Admiral Bobai added that the Nigerian Navy will ensure that officers and men of the Navy are given adequate support to enable them carry out their duties effectively. Some of the newly promoted officers pledged to improve on their efforts in carrying out their constitutional role.
We are expected to be more selfless, more determined, and more diligent in how we carry out our duties in recognition of the elevation that has been bestowed on us.
The Nigerian Navy recently promoted 112 senior officers to various ranks. In Lagos, Joy Ken Abapoya, NTA News.
Christmas is a season of love, a period to share and show appreciation to God for the well-being of mankind. The rendition of hymns and songs of praise is one of such activities that characterize Christmas. Joy Ken Agbakwea was at this year's Festival of Carols and 9 Lessons of the Catholic Church of the Assumption in Falomo, Lagos.
That beautiful rendition of the Christmas song, once in Royal David City, by the Catholic Church of Assumption Choir and the lighting of the Christmas tree set the tone for the 2016 Festival of Carols and Night Lessons of the parish. Archbishop of the Archdiocese of Lagos, Alfred Adewale Martins, charged Christians and Nigerians to, in the spirit of the season, show love, forgive all wrongdoings, and continue to pray for the progress of the nation.
Even though these challenges are there, they won't last forever. Let us keep up the hope. Let us know that behind the cloud, there is the sun.
And a time also to reflect on events that happened before and after the birth of Christ.
The joy of Christmas comes with appreciating God for the gift of the birth of Christ, which brought hope to mankind. What better way is there to appreciate Christ but through songs? And so, with excitement, the congregation listened to renditions from the parish choir and other groups.
It's a Christmas for everybody.
We sing, you know, at Christmas time to show our joy.
In Lagos, Joy Ken Abakboya, NTA News.
And that's our bit from here. It's back to Hawa, who has more stories nationwide in Abuja. Hawa?
And a report just in says President Muhammadu Buhari has signed into law 8 new bills passed by the National Assembly for good governance and effective service delivery in the nation's critical sectors. Senior Special Assistant to the President on National Assembly Matters, Ita Enang, describes the act as a significant demonstration of enhanced collaboration and cooperation between the executive and legislature. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo completes the report.
The new acts of the National Assembly, as they are now called, include the National Judicial Institute Amendment Act, Utilities Charges Commission Amendment Act, Quantity Surveillance Registration Amendment Act, as well as the Small and Medium-Scale Industries Development Agency Amendment Act. Others are the Treaty to Establish African Economic Community relating to the Pan-African Parliament, Accession and Jurisdiction Amendment Act, University of Abuja Amendment Act, and the Chartered Institute of Stockbrokers Amendment Act. This is the second time President Muhammadu Buhari is signing into law 8 bills passed by the National Assembly at a time in the last 2 months, which Senator Ita Enang described as significant.
This is the highest number of bills passed by any single parliament within 1 year and 6 months. The National Assembly has reasoned well and with the executive. They have shown industry and dexterity and the concentration on the core functions of the legislature.
The presidential aide also expressed optimism that the 2017 appropriation bill, now before the National Assembly, will be passed in good time for implementation.
I believe, like the presiding officers and the leadership and the membership have confirmed, they will give it priority. This bill will be faster processed because, like Mr. Senate President had stated in his address, there was a lot of consultations, minimizing the areas of disagreement.
The 7.3 trillion naira 2017 budget of recovery and growth was presented to the National Assembly by President Muhammadu Buhari on the 14th of this month. From the State House, Adamu Sambo, NTA News.
And Jigawa State Governor Muhammad Badaru Abubakar has presented a budget of 127.87 billion naira to the State House of Assembly for the 2017 fiscal year. Habibu Hussein reports that the budget, tagged Budget of Economic Diversification and Self-Sufficiency, is 7% less than that of 2016.
Badr Abubakar said the budget will consolidate on achievements recorded in the agriculture, education, health sectors, as well as economic empowerment and wealth creation.
Based on the consolidated position of the revenue projection, the 2017 appropriation bill is proposing a sum of 127.87 billion as a
governor also presented 49.6 billion naira as budget estimate for the 27 local government areas of the state. Speaker of the House, Alhaji Idris Garba, assured the government of speedy passage of the 2017 appropriation bill.
We in the Assembly shall follow you step by step to ensure what is quoted in the budget document and is regulated in action word by word. We shall not relent in bringing you to order where it is contrary to provision of appropriation. We shall quiz and squeeze the value of money we appropriate to ensure the government will live to its duty of catering for the well-being of its citizenry.
He said the House will enact laws that will support government economic transformation drive. From Dutse, Habib Hussein, NTA News.
And civil society organizations have continued to condemn the phenomenal election violence in Rivers State. The latest comes from the concerned Democrats of Conscience with the mandate to work towards the sustenance of the nation's democracy. Timothy Yusuf completes the report.
The concerned Democrats of Conscience believe that there is no alternative to a viable and vibrant democracy. As such, the recurring election violence in Rivers State calls for concern, which the members say could truncate the nation's democracy. On the constitution of the investigative panel to look into cases of violence during the December 10 legislative elections in the state, the group opines that the outcome will no doubt shape the electoral system.
While aligning ourselves with the conclusions of international observers and civil society groups that the December 10, 2016 elections were seen to be credible, free and fair, and could pass the litmus test of transparency, we are however worried by election statement to the effect that 2019 elections will be a tsunami.
The group's president explained that they are mobilizing Nigerians on the need to consolidate the gains of democracy by building a virile democratic culture that aborts impunity and corruption. In Abuja, Timothy Yusuf, NTA News.
Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade has reaffirmed his commitment to take the state to the next level by ensuring that all developmental projects are achieved. Governor Ayade said these at the Margaret Ekpo International Airport, Calabar, shortly after his arrival from Abuja. Ode Alenya completes the report.
Top government functionaries, party chieftains, youths, women groups, traditional rulers and the general public crowded the Margaret Ekpo International Airport to accord the governor a rousing reception into the state after his Supreme Court victory. The governor, who expressed appreciation to the nation's judiciary system, told the people that justice was dispensed on his case, stressing that judiciary still remained the last hope for the common man in the country. He said he is prepared more than ever to settle down to improve on his governance after the distractions.
It is the duty of my government administration as a seasoned businessman who is now in government to bring a change that will truly put Cross River State on the roadmap, the direction for proper prosperity. We want to put an end to the dependence of federal allocation. And so putting an end to this political tension means that we are creating a new focus, a new direction, a new commitment, and a renewed vigor, believing that God, who has delivered us through all these processes, will be with us so that we can ultimately provide an El Dorado for our people.
During an interdenominational Thanksgiving service on his victory held at the UJ Stadium, Governor Ayade thanked the people of the state and all others who supported him through prayers, which he said led to his victory at the court. He pledged to remain committed to the cause of taking the state higher and called on his opponent to put behind the past and join the team to build the state.
And that's why today, Cross River State stands up in spite of the fact that we're number 35 out of 36 states in terms of income to the state. Cross River State is number one in salary payments.
At the service, Governor Ayade promised to create additional 3,000 job opportunities for the youth and more political appointments in the state before the end of the first quarter of next year. In Calabar, Ode Alenyo, NTA News.
Federal government to reposition states to partner the mining sector. Let's now join Asmao in Sokoto for details. It's good to see you.
Thank you, Hawa. Good afternoon and welcome to Sokoto. The federal government is working towards evolving administrative mechanisms to enhance partnership with state governments to reposition the mining sector. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fahimi, stated this at a workshop on special purpose vehicles in the development of the mining sector held in Sokoto. Usman Muhammad Benji completes the story.
The workshop, organized by the Federal Ministry of Mines and
We're sorry about the technical hitch in Sokoto, but moving on now, you can watch this news live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And this is Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. We take some messages now. The news continues shortly.
This is a happy moment for me and for all Nigerians.
Amina Ali Nkeke, the first Chibok schoolgirl to be rescued in the renewed onslaught against the Boko Haram insurgency.
Amina's rescue gives us new hope.
Federal government has formally received the 21 abducted Chibok girls.
These dear daughters of ours have seen the worst that the world has to offer. It is now time for them to experience the best that the world can do for them. Government will sustain the effort until all the remaining girls return safely.
Now, you can hold that dream occasion without stress. Horizon Caterers will provide answers to all your catering questions. Exquisite hall designs, mouth-watering and nourishing local and continental cuisine, suitable for all types of ceremonies, including weddings, AGMs, business luncheon, cocktails. Name it, we can bring it. Our chefs and executive waiters give your guests that unforgettable experience in service. Our service covers all states of the Federation. Call us today to book your occasions. 0805-502-9637, 0803-450-9726, 0909-9708-111. Horizon Caterers. Experience catering beyond the horizon.
My community have asked me to be the chairman of their emergency luncheon.
How much of money are you carrying to village? You speak English, you know drop money.
Give us 100 million naira. If you don't have it, go back.
Flash, what is the name of your village?
Obuama, something like that.
Obama is what you're calling Obama. You're a lost cause.
This week on your award-winning comedy series, Professor John Bull, starring Kanayo Okanayo, Mercy Johnson, Queen Wokoye, Funky Malam, Ime Bishop.
I just came in from USA, United States of Aba.
If you was gave me money to palm my head, I was grief for you.
Palm your head?
I was needed to look beautifully this is Christmas.
I don't have money to palm your head.
Professor John Bull, this Tuesday and Friday, 8:30 to 9 p.m. on NTA Network, International, and Star Times.
Over and out.
Welcome to the new speed of life.
Do you crave class? Do you have taste? And do you care about comfort? If you do, then for your next event, a stay away from home, a business trip, or a holiday, visit JADES Hotel at 24 Ndola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja. Check out our world-class services, exquisite suites, restaurant and bar, gymnasium, spa and grills, and our outdoor catering services and cuisines. At JADES, it can only be better. For bookings and reservations, visit us today at 24 Ndola Crescent, Wuse Zone 5, Abuja, or visit www.jadeshotels.com. Our email address is info@jadeshotels.com.
You can also call us on 09291-9321 or 0810-909-7956.
JADES Hotels, welcome to life.
Nigeria joins the rest of the world in going digital. This means Nigeria is moving from analog terrestrial TV broadcasting to digital. Now, digital broadcasting gives you clearer pictures, crystal clear sound, and a chance for more channels and more shows to watch. Digital TV is a whole new experience for you and a rich harvest of digital events for the nation. Come aboard, Nigeria going digital. Coming to Abuja soon.
Far away from home, 2 million people contend with life, not as we know it, but as they come to know it. The Nigerian Television Authority presents the forced journey. Pain. Challenges and prospects for new beginning. Only on the network service of the NTA. Keep a date with this unique perspective.
Thanks for rejoining us, and moving on now. We now rejoin our Sokoto Network Center, where Asmao is standing by and ready for us.
Thank you, Hawa. The federal government is working towards evolving administrative mechanisms to enhance partnership with state governments to reposition the mining sector. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Kayode Fayemi, stated this at a workshop on special purpose vehicles in the development of the mining sector held in Sokoto. Usman Muhammad Binji completes the story.
The workshop Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, in collaboration with the Sokoto State Ministry of Solid Minerals and Natural Resources, brought together miners and experts in mining sector in Nigeria. The Minister of Mines and Steel Development, Dr. Fayemi Kayode, told the gatherers that federal government is partnering with state governments to come up with a roadmap to get rid of all the challenges retarding the growth and development of the country's mining sector.
There is nothing in the law, either in the Constitution or in the Nigerian Minerals and Mining Act 2007, that precludes businesses in which states have interest from applying legally and obtaining licenses to explore and exploit resources within their jurisdictions.
Declaring the two-day workshop open, Sokoto State Governor Aminu Waziri Tambuwal acknowledged the federal government's efforts aimed at diversifying the nation's economy through effective utilization of the mineral resources in the country.
It must be noted that iron and steel industries are the cornerstones for any meaningful industrial development of the country.
Highlight of the occasion was signing of Memorandum of Understanding between Sokoto State Government and Federal Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, as well as handing over a Federal Mineral Buying Center in Sokoto to Sokoto State Government. A dinner was organized by the state government in honor of the visiting minister. In Sokoto, Usman Mohammed Biji, NTA News.
Nigerians have been called to be patient with the current economic recession facing the nation. Bishop of Sokoto Diocese, Matthew Hassan Kuka, made the call during a prayer session to mark his 40th priestly. Safiya Abdullahi reports.
Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka has been in the serving of the Lord for the past 4 decades, representing Christian community in Nigeria and beyond. To celebrate his 40th priestly anniversary, the Catholic Diocese Sokoto organized a prayer session to congratulate and wish him long life and prosperity. Some Christian interviewed described Bishop Kuka as a devoted Christian who had been serving the nation and the Christian community over the years.
Call him a colossus because he's a man of so many. He's just like an elephant, and we all are actually grappling like blind men.
Great man, a great servant of God, wonderful man.
And I wish our bishop a very long life and peace in his kingdom.
The celebrant, Bishop Matthew Hassan Kuka, expressed joy and gratitude to God for his grace and the Sokoto Diocese for the prayers.
The only thing to say is I look forward to a greater Nigeria, and I look forward to a much better future, much better Nigeria, much more peaceful Nigeria.
Bishop Kuka admonished Nigerians to embrace peace and unity for the development of Nigeria. In Sokoto, Safia Abdullahi, NTA News.
The Nigerian Television Authority Sokoto Network Center has expressed willingness to improve the Army-civil relationship in the state. Zonal Director of the center, Bala Ali Yuguso, made this known when he led the management team of NTA on a courtesy visit to 1 Brigade Nigerian Army Sokoto. Osman Zubairu completes the story.
The visit by the NTA management to 1 Brigade Nigerian Army is the first of its kind. Zonal Director NTA Sokoto Network Center, Bala Ali Yuguso, described the visit as a means of strengthening the cordial relationship that exists between the NTA and the Army. Bala Ali Yuguso acknowledged the efforts of the Army of curtailing cattle rustling and restoring normalcy in Zamfara State. NTA, according to him, will continue to play its role of educating and enlightening people on the good works of the Army at all times. He called for collaborative efforts between the NTA and the Army with a view to come up with programs that will sensitize the public on how best they can assist the military in realizing its objectives.
But we want to explore ways that we can do better, particularly now with the current challenges we have, especially in Zamfara State.
Commander 1 Brigade Nigerian Army Sokoto, Brigadier General Gini Kanwa Nwosu, said the command has keen interest to partner with NTA with a view to cementing the cordial relationship between NTA and the Army. The brigade commander said the issue of security is a collective responsibility of all and sundry, calling on the members of the public to contribute their own quota. In Sokoto, Usman Zweb, NTA News.
And that's our package from Sokoto. Nationwide continues with Hawa in Abuja. Good afternoon.
Many thanks, Asmao. Determined to strengthen the mechanism for the fight against corruption, institutional governance support, and open government partnership, the whistleblowing policy program has been approved by the federal government. The Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, announced this while briefing the media after the Federal Executive Council meeting chaired by President Muhammadu Buhari. She said the policy is expected to serve as a stopgap pending the passage of the relevant legislation currently being considered by the National Assembly.
And what it does is it encourages anyone with information about a violation of government's financial regulations, mismanagement of public funds and assets, fraud, financial malpractice, and other associated conduct to report it. It covers disclosure of information leading to the return of Nigeria's stolen or concealed funds and assets. It is not possible to move money, for example, with just one signature. There are always two, but people are often scared to speak up. So the whistleblower policy actually gives them protection against the consequences of doing the right thing in the public interest, and hopefully will support us to recover a lot of concealed money.
State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports that the council also approved the continuation of work on the second Niger Bridge project, as well as the outline business case on the award of its contract.
The project was conceived first as a PPP with government financing, but the investors have not brought their share. Negotiations have not concluded, and it is important to continue to work there. Works have been executed there, tagged early works 1 to 3. It is important to continue, and essentially it's preparatory and piling work that can only be done during the low tide, especially at this time of the year before the water levels rise.
To health matters now. Developing phytomedicine or herbal medicine has been identified as one way of building an efficient and effective health sector in Nigeria, particularly in attaining universal health coverage and the Rapid Result Initiative. This is the view of the Director General of the Nigeria Institute for Pharmaceutical Research and Development, NIPRID, Professor Kanius Shingo Gamaniel, at a media conference in Abuja. Health correspondent Rashida Mustafa Olagunju reports.
Phytomedicine is the use of plants, parts of plants, and isolated phytochemicals for prevention and treatment of various health conditions. To achieve this comes with strong research support and a robust pharmaceutical industry, since management of disease conditions the world over revolves around access to new technologies and good medicines. This, however, appears to be in short supply to the NIPRID.
Government is to regulate and provide policy directions, and also to support public research institutes like NIPRID. What we were proposing was to make plots for every state and their peculiarities in medicine. In Madagascar, they get revenue for going into botanical gardens. Why can't we even get revenue from our own too?
Research shows that the preference for phytomedicine has increased globally in the last decade, and its development in Nigeria can create at least 1 million jobs and generate about $1 million annually.
Political will on part of government is not there yet. When we are ready, we know what to do, because there's no country that develops without research. As it is currently, research and development is not top on the agenda of countries like our own. When we decide to deliberately have program for research and development, there are simple things that can be done. For example, there have to be commission where funding is available and scientists in that country compete by writing proposals to get funding for projects that speak to the national goals.
For instance, given the necessary support, the anti-malaria product of the institute can treat about 60 million people annually, thereby reducing the cost of imported anti-malaria drugs. Brain drain of research fellow is another constraint of this institute towards providing a robust phytoremedy to the nation. Rashidat Mustafa Olagunju, NTA News.
And women as custodians of homes, have been urged to learn and teach the younger ones tips of fire prevention at home and in schools. President of the Fire Officers' Wives Association, Mrs. Juliana Anebi, said this during a sensitization campaign at the Anna Ground Orphanage, Karo, in Nasarawa State. Over now to Sarafina Okon for details.
Fire Officers' Wives Association is saddled with the responsibilities of providing succor to the less privileged in the society.
It's family reunion. We want to see that these children that are misplaced, if God helps us to see their parents in the nearest future, it is our joy to reunite them. Before we collect a child, we have a cover note from the social welfare and the police. We don't accept any child into this home except we have a cover note.
President of the association, Mrs. Juliana Anebi, while interacting with the children at the home to make them feel part of the society, cared for and share in the spirit of the season.
Best people that we can visit is the orphans, and that is why we are here today.
The fire officers stimulated fire prevention exercise, saying it is important to have a first-hand knowledge on how to avert fire disasters.
It is a thing of joy, more so in this yellow tie season, to being associated with a Fire Officers' Wife Association. It's just very rewarding and, of course, befitting for us to be here at this moment in time.
Some of the children speak.
Thank you, Ahmed. Lord bless you, everybody.
I want to say thank you to them for remembering us this season. And I want to say may God bless them and grant them their heart desires.
The association came up as a body in 2012. Serafina Okon, NTA News.
And as the Nigerian Peace Corps awaits the President's assent on the bill that will give statutory backing to its existence, already passed by both chambers of the National Assembly, the Corps is set to commence the construction of its academy in 2017. The National Commandant, Dixon Ako, stated this while briefing the media in Abuja on the achievements recorded by the organization in 2016. Chim Demma Ndubisi reports.
According to the latest data on unemployment rate released by the National Bureau of Statistics, 19.8% of Nigerian youths are currently unemployed. Little wonder social vices are on the increase among the youth. That's why the Nigerian Peace Corps' focus in 2017 is to build an academy that will provide security training for the teeming unemployed youths.
Apart from creating job opportunities for the unemployed youth, will also play significant roles in the nation's security architecture.
The Corps Commandant described year 2016 as successful as the Corps received recognition from the African Union for engaging in youth empowerment programs.
This organization visited Suleja prison this year, where we donated relief materials and 40 inmates with pardonable crimes were set free after we paid their fine. The organization signed a memorandum of understanding with African Support and Initiative for the rehabilitation of the released Chibok girls.
The Peace Corps has been a voluntary organization for 18 years before the passage of its establishment law by the National Assembly in 2016. In Abuja, Chimdima Ndubisi, NTA News.
And it's Freedom Day for some inmates at the Ilesha prison. Let's now join our Ibadan studios for details. It's over to you.
Welcome to Ibadan. An 80-year-old woman and 12 other inmates of Ilesha prisons have been granted freedom by the Chief Judge of Osun State, Justice Oyebola Adepeojo. The lucky inmates regained their freedom during a prison visit by the Chief Judge. Correspondent Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
80-years-old Oyedeji Aishat was arraigned alongside her son, Matthew Oyedeji, on the 16th of September 2016 for stealing a ram and has since been remanded in Ilesha prison. She is one of the 13 inmates of the prison granted release by a special court sitting organized by the Speedy Administration of Justice Committee headed by Osun State Chief Judge Oyebola Adepeojo. Others include Adebari Monsurat, a mother of 3 who was remanded in prison for malicious damage and was in the facility with her 2-year-old baby. The trio of Lateef Bamidele, Raphael Akinlabi and Ezekiel Igwe, who had been in prison custody for close to 10 years on the charge of armed robbery, also had their case reviewed in their favor. Honorable Justice Adepeojo, who charged the freed inmate to go and see no more, said the sitting was to attend to urgent cases in line with Section 1, Cap 40 of the Criminal Justice Released from Custody Act 1977. The sitting, she added, was also to garner needed information on the state of prisons in the state in order to assist the executive formulate plans and programs for prison reforms. From Ilesha Prison, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
Christians have been urged to be courageous in all their endeavors, and especially during this period of economic hardship. President Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, said these at the 2016 Grand Night of Carols and Lessons by NTA Ibadan Network Center. Femi Afolabi has details.
The Grand Night of Carols and Night Lessons organized by NTA Ibadan Network Center reflected the mood of the season, marking the birth and essence of Christ on the world. Choristers from various Christian missions, clergymen and royal fathers converged on Molete Baptist Church, Ibadan, for the event. President, Christian Association of Nigeria, Reverend Samson Ayokunle, in his sermon urged Christians to be courageous and wait on the Lord for his divine favor and turn around. Zonal Director, NTA Ibadan Network Center, who read the third lesson, explained that the program was organized to celebrate with its viewers and society.
It's a season of joy, of merriment, of felicitation, so everybody is happy and I'm happy too.
Praise worship, goodwill messages and prayers for the nation are some of the other highlights of the event.
Let's just praise God, and I'm sure that the Christ in Christmas will meet us at the point of our needs.
Set Christmas period aside as a time to give and to do good to others.
From Ibadan, Femi Afolabi, NTA News.
The Federal Road Safety Corps in Ogbomoso has reiterated commitment to reducing road crashes during festive period, especially along Ogbomoso-Oyo Highway. The unit commander, Bayode Olugbesan, stated these at the flag-off of sensitization campaign at Odoba. Ahmed Fulani has the report.
Towards the end of the year, especially during the festive period, roads are always busy because people travel from one part of the country to another. To this end, the Federal Road Safety Commission, FRSC, Ogbomoso unit organized a sensitization program to reorientate road users, especially commercial drivers, on the importance of driving with care during the coming Yuletide season. The unit commander of FRSC Ogbomoso Command, Bayode Olugbesan, noted that speed violation is responsible for 27% of road accidents from January to this time.
Road safety is everybody's business. Everybody should be conscious on the road. Everybody should know that their safety is very, very important. Almost all accidents are avoidable. If you follow speed limits, when they tell you to stop, you stop.
The event, which was attended by some traditional rulers in Ogbomoso land and heads of other security agencies in Ogbomoso, had as its theme, Crash the Crash, Speed Kills. From Odoba in Ogbomoso, Ahmad Fulani, NTA News.
And that's it from Ibadan. Back to you in Abuja.
Many thanks to you, Kemi. And on the global scene, Gambian President Yahya Jammeh says he won't step down in January, accuses West African leaders of violating ECOWAS principle on non-interference, even as he approves law to exempt members of parliament from paying taxes. And police hunt underway for a Tunisian suspected to be responsible for Monday's Berlin Christmas market attack. For more stories on Global Tidbits, let's join Runke Kolawole.
People detained under the state of emergency in Ethiopia in October will soon regain their freedom, while another 2,500 will be charged with unrest-related crimes. Most of the detainees are from Oromia and Amara region, who protested against political and economic marginalization. In Sao Tome and Principe, government has severed diplomatic ties with Taiwan in support of the One China policy, which insists that there is only one China in the world and that Taiwan is part of it. Sao Tome suspended ties with China in 1997 when it officially recognized Taiwan. However, China is yet to comment on re-establishing ties with Sao Tome. In other news, France President Francois Hollande has pledged to support the campaign for citizenship by Africans who fought for the country in the Second World War. His pledge is sequel to a petition initiated by Amir in France, who is a Senegalese. For Global Tidbits, Runke Kolawole, NTA News.
And sports now. Fifth Chakra of Kaduna wins Kefi Polo tournament as injury in a knife attack forces Petra Vitova out of the first Grand Slam of 2017. Over now to Amanzi Marcus with sports update.
A private sector initiative to organize a grassroots sports competition in Abuja in the first quarter of the year 2017 has rolled out its programs, top of which is the plan to construct a high-performance center and international sports city in Abuja. Investments in sports development and collaboration with relevant stakeholders was also discussed at the one-day forum on Tuesday in Abuja.
So we use sports to create employment for people and ensure that we have this paradigm shift from oil.
Fifth Choker of Kaduna are champions of the 6th edition of the Kefi Polo Tournament, beating hosts Kefi Pony 10-4 in the final match, with lovers of the game calling for more support to polo in view of its benefits.
I want to join Nigerians. It doesn't matter what we do. We could be in the area of sport, in the area of anything in which we have expertise, that we should utilize such opportunities in order to do the work of charity.
You can see the population of youths here, and a message is being sent across that through sports you can achieve anything.
Former Vice President Atiku Abubakar was among dignitaries that witnessed the final match. Czech Republic's Petra Vitova will not be playing tennis for at least 90 days after surgery following a burglary at a home in Prosteyov. The two-time Wimbledon champion mistakenly opened her door for a robber who posed as a utility staff, and the struggle with the intruder, armed with a knife, caused injury to her left hand, which incidentally is her playing hand, ruling her out of the Australian Open, which begins on the 16th of February 2017. With sports updates, Amanzi Marcus, NTA News.
And before we go, a reminder that you can get all our stories and much more when you log on to our website, www.nta.ng. And that's a wrap on Nationwide this Wednesday. We thank you for being part of it. Stay on the network service for more reports and News Extra at 9. Good evening.